Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of In Between the Sitches. As always, I'm your host, but this week I am without Chase Olschwanger, so he's replaced by Seth Harrison.
I'm here to stay.
He's this hobo that I picked up off the street. No, if you watched our draft show, he was the other guy on there, the guy that just said things, and we kind of let him be. He was off his medication at that point.
I was the one who got the Will McDonald pick.
Yeah, you were the person that got the Will McDonald pick. He's like, it's gonna be that one pass rusher, I guarantee you. And then he said he threw the pin down, like, yes, I am right. If we sound a little different, we are in a different studio, so I don't know if the mic quality is better or worse. Sounds a little different, whatever. Just if anyone's like, well, they sound different. Chase did give me his football picks. Seth is going to give his football picks, but they don't really matter. They're just for him to, seem smart, even though he's not. So far, Chase is still beating me. I'm hoping the comeback of the century is on, but we're going to start it off with Dallas Stars. Since we last talked, they're now 16-8-3, second in the Central, fifth in the West. They beat Calgary 6-3 on Monday. They got Ottawa at home at 7 o'clock. So, Stars have been doing good. It's the same points each week. They've been playing well. They're winning games. It's a great time to be a DFW sports fan, which Seth is not. He is a Boston sports fan, with the exception of the Spurs.
Pain.
Yeah, pain. Over the last 20 years, I think no city has been more.
I also have, somehow, the Patriots have as many wins as the Spurs do. so.
Oh, that's bad. I didn't know that. Well, that's fun.
The Spurs or something?
No disrespect to hockey, but with no Zach Babb, there's not a ton of hockey talk. So we got to move to the Dallas Stars. Not the Dallas Stars, Dallas Mavericks. Different one. 4-game win streak since we last spoke, so they have not lost. They're 15-8, third in the Western Conference. They beat Utah, Portland, Memphis, and the Lakers last night. The Lakers. Okay, well, he has strong feelings about LeBron. He loves LeBron. LeBron is his favorite player of all time.
The GOAT.
The GOAT. No, but it was a great win. Dante Exum was in the NBA. I don't remember where he went. I think he went to Europe. Played. And then we pulled him off the scrap heap this year. It's kind of like with baseball. They go play in a foreign country so they can try to rebuild their confidence, rebuild some talent. He's looked really good. Luka was finding him for open threes last night. Luka is just a god. And DFW, he's just, I love Luka.
No, I know, but I wasn't expecting the comment of
he's a god.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
He's a god, I say. But we got Minnesota tomorrow at 7:30. Again, the Mavericks have just been playing well, and without Kyrie, his foot is hurt.
Apparently,
yeah, he's dealing with. I think he bruised his Achilles, or he bruised something important in his foot.
Nah, he'll be fine.
He's worth say right now. I think he's wearing a boot. I don't think he's doing much. It's not like the entire season where he'll be out, but we're managing just fine without him. Derek Lively's a monster. Just a great team. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Good role players.
And then LeBron and other things in the NBA, like Draymond Green, just sucker punching another person. Still doesn't have as many.
Has Draymond Green ever considered a career in boxing?
I think a legitimate fight with him versus another former. I think him versus Rasheed Wallace, who is the one person he's chasing for. I think most ejections. That would be entertaining. Like a celebrity boxing match. Basketball players, because of how long their arms are, that would be entertaining.
I think Draymond is very quickly writing his resignation letter with these fights.
And like we were talking about in our, what I call a pre-production meeting, Draymond, until your talent in sports, it's always, it's a little bit different nowadays. Back in, even just 10 years ago, if your talent's still out, and before that, if your talent outweighed your headache, you would still have a job. It didn't matter to teams, right? Randy Moss had a literal rap sheet coming into the NFL. Didn't matter. Still was drafted in the. He was passed on by a lot of teams. My team was one of them. But you've seen guys do bad things and still get chances. But now it feels like it's a little bit different. You don't get as many chances, and Draymond is quickly. I think his talent is no longer outweighing the headache, or it's getting close.
Yeah, the Warriors are 10-13. Steph can only carry that team. Klay Thompson got benched. Draymond is acting a fool.
The dynasty's over. I
wouldn't say it's over. I would say it's dying. And I should know. I've seen what this looks like. The 2019 New England Patriots, in that they're there. The pieces are still there, but they're not the same. Tom Brady, Steph Curry's still there. He's still making plays, but
everyone around him is dying.
is old, getting up there in age, not playing the same, hurt. They're just not the same team. And
which is funny because and I wish I had Chase here to correct me if I was wrong here, but I believe they've had a decent amount of draft capital the last couple of years to try to rebuild the talent, and it just has not worked.
Yeah, no, they just haven't done a great job filling in the holes.
No, Draymond may still go to the Hall of Fame one day. It's possible. Clay will. So
Clay
will
will
Steph.
definitely. Yeah.
Clay and Steph will. They're probably. They're the greatest shooting duo
the
of
Splash
ever.
Bros. Yeah, they're going in the Hall.
They're
of Fame.
amazing, but
the Hall of Fame had a tag team division. They're going in.
They only had a Pippen, Jordan, things like that.
Yeah, if they had a tag team division, they would go in 2 separate times, each as individuals, then as a group. Like those two are.
We talked about this like just 5 minutes ago. We should start wrestling on this. That'd be fun, or just do a wrestling podcast. That'd be fun.
A wrestling podcast. Would be
I love wrestling.
Great.
In addition to bowling, I've mentioned that I love bowling on here. Seth also loves bowling, and I think I went like a 10-minute tangent on one episode about bowling, which it was. I mean, I nerded out. It was a lot of fun. We should do wrestling because with all the CM Punk stuff, it would be a lot to talk about. But the NBA, I mean, LeBron still looks good. He's still LeBron. That's, I think, the one thing that LeBron fans do have over Jordan fans is that LeBron's longevity at his size was better than Jordan for a guy who was considered, and I'm air quoting with my hands here, undersized for the NBA.
I think the only problem is that we can't look at it from a straight up, oh, well, LeBron's lasted longer. LeBron also exists in 2023 as like a 40-year-old guy, and medicine is better than it's ever been before.
And not only that, but I think the counter argument that I would use would be, well, Jordan played an era where not only the medicine and play through it, kid, you're fine, but it was a tougher league. It's kind of a cupcake league now where you don't get hit. The contact, unless you're Draymond. Yeah, you're not having Bill Lambiers just elbow you in the nose anymore. That's just it. The era is different. That's why I like Shaq when he says we shouldn't compare players. Same thing. I think this transcends sports. You shouldn't compare players across eras.
Yeah.
Because if you compare Brady to Montana, it's very different. Montana wasn't in a passing league.
No,
he was still a good passer, obviously, but Brady grew up in the passing league when it was changing. He was one of the guys that changed the NFL.
There are only a handful of people that transcend generations, and it is still the fact that we even have a debate says that that we shouldn't be doing it at all.
Yeah.
Tom Brady is I'm biased, but there is no debate left for him.
I think someone like Fran Tarkenton, he could play in today.
Yeah,
he's small, could run, he could throw. He could play in today, but he could also play back then. It's the same thing when people bring up Babe Ruth. I'm like, well, of course Babe Ruth wouldn't do good today. He was swinging like a 44-ounce bat or some crazy number. They're not swinging that anymore. And nutritionally better, Babe Ruth would still be Babe Ruth because he would. I mean, if you plucked 1921 Babe Ruth and stuck him right now today, no, he'd suck. There's a lot of changes that have happened in baseball since 1921, but it would be if you took Babe Ruth if he was born, today, I think the natural talent was there. Natural talent's the only thing that can transcend eras, right? The equipment, play style, everything that can all. But anyway,
I think the in-season tournament is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. I already thought it was dumb.
Well, I think no, actually, it was a great idea. It's actually worked. Here's where it doesn't work for fans. LeBron, and I think you joked, and I'm gonna let you make your joke about LeBron and the bubble title. So what were you gonna say?
Say with LeBron winning the in-season tournament and also getting the bubble title, he's about 0.5% of the way to a real NBA title since joining the Lakers. It's crazy. Maybe one day when he's a grown up.
Maybe one day. I mean, the thing is that the tournament was a success. If you look at it from the perspective of it was a playoff-like atmosphere in December. For regular season games, that's a plus. It got a lot of viewership. That's a plus. Players got nice bonuses. That's a plus. And I think the staffers got bonuses, which is a plus for those guys because they're not.
It's a nice financial incentive.
It's a great idea. It works for basketball. It does not work for football. It does not work for. It could work for hockey because of the structure of it, being so much like basketball. But baseball, no, don't do a tournament like baseball. No, because I think that would cause managers, if you were actually trying to win it. Managers would be managing it like the playoffs, which you saw Bochy, he used mainly 3 relievers the entire time, right? And if they don't, then they're gonna be like, well, I don't care about winning the in-season baseball tournament. I'm gonna, well, why are you trotting out your backup? Well, he needs time to play. Well, you wouldn't trot him out in the World Series. No, because that's the World Series, right? It wouldn't work. Basketball, though, I think the guys were playing for something a little bit more because they don't get paid.
I think it adds incentives.
It does,
but I think overall it's been a net neutral. It really hasn't. They can have it, but it's like they're pumping it up, and that's just
you can have it. It was a great idea. Adam Silver, who's the best commissioner in sports, it worked. It was a great idea, but you can't really use it as like a legacy builder.
Well, this man won his 18th in-season tournament. Like, okay,
like I've called it the McDonald's Trophy. I mean, you could have gotten that.
Why not call it the Burger King Crown?
Yeah, but I like the whole you could have won the trophy out of a Happy Meal.
That's fair.
It's like a Happy Meal toy. It doesn't matter. But I mean, your Spurs are when Wemby looks good.
Yay! The Spurs.
At least this old coach has not had the game pass him by. Bill Belichick.
Which is crazy because he's about as unsuccessful as Belichick has been since. I mean, he's been bad. I mean,
but he's also not the GM.
That's the problem. Like, isn't he? Does he not have control? I'm pretty sure he has full control over all player personnel.
I misspoke.
Yeah, that's why him and Bill are so much. Man, they are so much alike. But like, it is hard to watch my sports team, except for the Celtics, which is nice. Like the Celtics are my second team, but like,
what about the Bruins?
I don't watch hockey that much.
My God.
And I also choose to ignore the Bruins because they lost. Just like the Patriots in 07.
To the Florida Panthers.
They never existed, and no one can prove. I don't know what you're talking about. Hockey as a sport is fake. Like, it's completely made up. I don't know what to tell you.
Is this like your birds or government agents conspiracy theory?
If you can't prove me wrong, then I must be right.
This man, I have to tell the story. This man, one time, I don't remember what compelled him to say. He was probably just in a mood, and he was like, bro, birds are government spies. And I'm like, what? He's like, what was it? Show me a picture of a bird before, 1960? And I'm like, what? And then I'm scrambling. Like, of course I can find one. Then I'm scrambling, and I can't find one. And so this man, every time we see a bird, he'll be like, bro, they're spying on us.
You ever watch a video of a bird? No, because they're fake. Like they're only exist when you see them, right? That's just how it works.
See what I have to deal with in here.
I'm kidding.
Chase, where are you? Are you coming back anytime? Anyway.
I'm mostly kidding.
Anything else in basketball? I can't think of much that has been the Wizards, the Capitals.
Oh, yeah, the Wizards moving.
Could be moving.
Yeah.
I mean, that sucks. It's not as long. That's one of the beauties about being in DFW is that we're arguably the third biggest sports market.
Yeah.
You're never going to move one of our teams.
No.
You're just not. Because you're not going to move the Stars because it's the only team in Texas. You're not going to move the Mavs because it's DFW.
Dallas has infinitely more funds than some cities.
You can't move the Rangers because they've been here long enough and they have a new stadium. They're going to be here for at least 20, 30 years.
And Dallas has built...
The Cowboys are the Cowboys.
The Dallas, Arlington, the area has specifically built up infrastructure around these teams.
Yeah.
They are not letting them leave.
Every team, because it's funny because you have two teams that play in Dallas, two teams that play in Arlington, but Arlington is the great mediator between Fort Worth and Dallas.
Yeah.
So you have that... It's why Houston fans don't like us. I don't mind Rockets fans. It's the same reason why I don't mind Philadelphia Phillies fans. I don't mind Flyers fans. I don't like Eagles fans, which they're probably the same fans. But when they're cheering for the Phillies, I'll cheer with them. I'm cheering for the Eagles. I hate them. Right? Which we'll get to that game because I get to
one is crazy. The other is damn near homicidal.
But see, that's why I like. It was said that's why Houston doesn't like us apparently. I've heard a lot of Houston people are like, well, DFW gets all the glitz and glamour of being in Texas, and we get none of it. I'm like, yeah, because you're in the armpit of Texas.
Yeah, the armpit, and also, it's just not a fun part of Texas. Nobody goes to Houston let's go to Houston, I'm ready to party. No, what's in Houston? It's the, oil and gas, and, it's large,
it's humid as
crap.
A lot
of crime. But, DFW is nice, it's pretty. It has its sections.
There's parts of, Fort Worth and Dallas that are not, the greatest of spots. I wouldn't walk there alone at night. It would not be fun.
Oak Cliff does have the highest incarceration rate of the state, but that's beside the point.
That's beside the point. Hey, their high school team's pretty good. They're in the state title.
But Washington only offering $500 million is just
that's what's funny is you'd think that Washington's a decent market. They got the Nationals. You'd think they'd be very they've got the Commanders. You'd think they'd be very incentivized to keep the other two major sports franchises there. I know the Wizards. Yeah. I know the Wizards now. I understand because the Wizards and the Capitals have rarely ever. Well, the Caps have been good. But the Wizards have rarely ever been very good, right? Or been very, very rarely be relevant. So I understand why you really wouldn't want them to be. At least the Mavs have won a championship in the last 15 years. They've been to one in the last. They've been to two in the last 20. So I understand why you are more inclined to keep it. Like, still, the Wizards are just, they haven't been good, and they're moving, which sucks.
I think I can see them going to Baltimore. Like, legitimately seeing them. Like, I know they said Northern Virginia, but, like, if you're going to move your team, you don't send them to Richmond. Like, what?
But if you send them to Richmond, it's not a bad idea geographically because you're still going to have a lot of the same fans in the same area. If they don't name them the Oilers for the movie Coach Carter,
I would be
they
extremely
need to.
disappointed.
The Richmond Oilers.
But I think Baltimore is a better fit.
Baltimore's a lot better. I think it's closer, isn't it?
I believe so, to Maryland.
Yeah,
so, I mean, Baltimore, and you know, if you move it there, Baltimore goes from having, what, one of the four major to three? So,
I mean,
I expect them to be just fine.
Yeah, I mean, I got people that I know that are from Maryland but are Washington fans.
Yeah.
So I mean, Baltimore makes a lot of sense. They don't have a hockey team, and they don't have a basketball team.
They'd be a great
the Ravens
fit.
and the Orioles. They'd be a great fit, and you still keep the geographical location of your Washington fans.
Yeah.
But, I mean, DC's just kind of that place is just weird.
It's always been a weird.
It felt like a bubble. That's what it felt like. Like every other, if you're in any other state, you're fine, but it's not a state. It's a place.
Yeah.
It's a thing. It's a bubble. Anyway, it is now a chance to say, and I again want to take this opportunity to remind everybody that the Texas Rangers won the World Series. Again, mentioning it to you every time from now until spring training, and then every time it will be the reigning defending World Series champions. Because I will be insufferable for the next year, and I will
you
not
have to say it
apologize.
like Paul Heyman, though.
Ladies and gentlemen, my client, the Texas Rangers. But in Rangers news, we signed Jesus Tinoco, who's most famous for giving up Aaron Judge's 60-second home run. That's his claim to fame. He was pretty good with us. I don't know why we got rid of him in the first place, but cool. So we'll bring him in to see if he makes the bullpen. I mean, Rangers fans are pissed that we're not doing anything, but it's if you kind of, I don't say you have to understand the economics of baseball. We don't have our TV deal right now. So our TV deal with Bally ran out, and so we're looking to where we're going to go. The TV deals are I think, if not the biggest, one of the biggest sources of revenue. Have you ever seen like the Rangers that does not get revenue sharing? That's like our biggest source of revenue. Not ticket sales, and then those help obviously, but like the TV deal is what gives you that $100, $200, $300 million spending power.
Yeah, I was say because I almost bankrupted the entire Rangers myself on Wednesday $1 hot dog nights.
And so I think me and you did. So and for right now, you'd think. And this is what bothers me. Like, you'd think if I'm the Rangers, we're the World Series champions with a young team, with veterans who are showing no signs of declining, with marketable stars. Who wouldn't want us? Let's just keep signing free agents because someone's going to give us a great deal. But I think it's still that business hesitation of what if, because baseball's not football, it's not basketball, it's better than hockey, but I mean,
I think there's also some real world influence into it as well when it comes to major league contracts. Like, you go to New York, you're like, oh man, I'm New York. And I'm in Los Angeles, like, oh man. But like Texas, like it's great, but like nobody goes, oh man, I moved to Dallas. Like,
no, actually, what's funny is I'm gonna disagree with you. Most of the players that come to play here end up living here.
No, they love it once they're here. But nobody, but like outside, it doesn't have international acclaim. Nobody goes, oh man, you need to go to Dallas, Texas.
Dallas has a claim because it's Texas. Like, people, if you probably ask, I guarantee you, I think more Europeans would know Dallas over Austin.
Oh yeah, I mean, anyway,
it has more appeal. I think the DFW market has appeal. But people forget that it has the appeal because when you think of Dallas, what do you think of? You think of the Cowboys. That's it.
That's usually.
I mean, and I hate saying Josh Hamilton was right when he said it's not a baseball town. It is a baseball town when you're winning.
Yeah.
But there are us diehard fans like me, my dad, Chase, right, that will go regardless of their winning or losing. I mean, my dad remembers Arlington Stadium, roasting his butt out there on those outfield bleacher seats, but watching horrible baseball. But not everyone in DFW is going to do that.
No.
The only team that will get blind support at their games, no matter win or lose, is the Cowboys.
Undisputedly.
Everybody else has to kind of deal with when they're good, which is fine. But we are a very desirable market. No state income tax, which is nice.
Yeah.
Good school districts around the DFW area.
Yeah, Highland Park area.
Things like that. Yeah. It really is a great destination. I just feel like one of the things that was keeping people from coming here to play with the Rangers, it was too hot. I mean, I don't blame them to some degree to not wanting to play in 100-degree heat every single day almost when you're at home.
Even 100 mil couldn't make me want to do that.
That's not fun. And not only that, I remember I was listening to, I think it was 105.3, and I think it was Mike Bassick brought up a great point. He's like, well, think about this, the health of the players. Being out in the sun zaps your energy a little bit more than it does if you're in the cold, right? Being in the heat, there's something about it that makes you more tired. And so could that play a role? And people are like, well, I get fatigued by August. I'm slogging to make it to the end of the year, right? I mean, it's just not fun. But now we have the nicest stadium in baseball, at least like facility-wise.
Facility-wise, it's great.
It's the
it
best.
looks like a giant warehouse, but
from the inside, it looks beautiful.
From the inside, it's absolutely gorgeous.
The outside looks like a big giant warehouse.
Yeah, it was the most. It's still stupid looking.
I mean, once you get actually standing in front of it on the outside, it looks nice. With Texas Live, it looks really cool.
They should have gone for more of an Indianapolis Colts look than they did. But
I mean, they on that one side from Texas Live, it looks like a Lucasville Stadium. But the other sides,
I would expect it to be a giant Amazon warehouse.
I mean, again, from the inside, it looks beautiful. No stadium in the history of mankind will ever be as beautiful as the ballpark in Arlington. Nothing will ever top that. I will stand by that to the day I die. But it's still a nice ballpark, and players want to come here. So I think right now I'm not worried about free agency. Wait, I mean, are you expecting a DeGrom signing again? No. There's only so much these guys. We're not the Yankees. We can't swallow $300 million and it be fine. Or the Mets,
Dodgers.
Or the Mets, or the Dodgers, or the Red Sox, or the Mets, or I think I said them. But we're not one of those teams. We're a team that can operate in the big market when we're winning, but when we're not, we're going to be a small market. We're going to go down, which is fine. I'm okay with that. I'm not looking to anyone truly. I mean, Montgomery is the only guy I really want back right now. Like, that would be big and notable and that would cost a lot of money. I mean, he's going to look at what Aaron Nola got and say, I want that, which he's very deserving of. I mean, we don't win the World Series without him. And even if he goes, like I said, we won the World Series. I don't care if we traded a future Hall of Famer for him. It was worth it for half a season, what he did in the playoffs. But it has been a crazy week in baseball. Juan Soto was officially traded to the Yankees. Seth, as a Red Sox fan, I'm sure is just
I'm not
loving this.
I'm not too worried. The Yankees, they'll find a way to screw it up. This is the new age Yankees, where they suck, and I love every moment of it.
Yankees also got Trent Grisham, but they did trade a fair amount of prospects for potentially only 1 year of Soto, which, if they win the World Series, doesn't matter. They won a World Series. I'm a big believer. You know me. We disagree slightly in this manner where I'm like, flags fly forever. I don't care what it costs. Whereas you, a Red Sox fan, have to watch Chris Sale do nothing but take a bunch of money. Yeah, so, but the Yankees did get Trent Grisham back. So, I mean, that's, a nice outfielder. I mean, he can't be worse than Harrison Bader, which I would love to say what they called him, but I can't over the air. San Diego received Michael King, Johnny Brito, Randy Vasquez, Cal Higashioka, and the biggest one was starting pitching prospect Drew Thorpe. So a nice haul. Brito and Thorpe are nice prospects. King is already in the MLB. I think Vasquez is a prospect, and Higashioka is a decent catcher.
They have a lot.
They kind of went a little more quantity over quality a little bit because they traded their entire farm system for guys like Soto, ironically.
Yeah.
So, but the Yankees,
I can't wait for the Yankees.
It's a great deal for him if they re-sign Soto.
Is Aaron still there?
Aaron's still there. He signed like a huge extension.
Oh, that's even better. I really don't expect them to do anything now. I can't wait for that team to collapse.
I think it's got decent. Pitching is the question mark. They have the hitting now. Rizzo, the Rizzo was the Yankees' fault. He had a concussion, and they just were like, no, keep playing. If you didn't know that, he got a concussion, was in a huge slump. Every Yankee fan wanted his head on a platter, and then they were like, well, remember that time that Tatis like slammed into him head first at first base? Yeah, apparently he's been like playing with a concussion since then. That was like 2 months ago. So we're like our truth, fellas. My bad. It was just okay. That's totally not medical malpractice on the Yankees' part, but yeah. So Rizzo, hopefully, is at full strength. Judge, you got Soto, You've got LeMahieu, Stanton when he's healthy, but he can't run. Volpe hit 20 home runs, played good defense, obviously. If they had Dominguez, I do feel bad for Dominguez. Dominguez comes in for like 7 games, is like the greatest player in the history of baseball history, and then Tommy John for an outfielder. He'll be out until like August, I think.
And then they also have Verdugo now.
They have Verdugo now. I forgot about that. So
they have some depth. They have
hitting.
Team.
They're gonna score 5-6 runs a game, which is what Yankee fans want. Here's the issue: name me a pitcher outside of Garrett Cole that's like really good. I mean, Nestor Cortez is fine. And again, if I may name somebody that's a free agent, I may not realize it. I mean, Rodon was a complete. Oh, we dodged a bullet there because I wanted Rodon for the Rangers. I'll take DeGrom. I'll take an injured DeGrom over an injured Rodon. I don't know why, but I just would. I'll take DeGrom over Rodon any day of the week. It's basically Garrett Cole and then pray for a win the other 4 days. I mean, I like Nestor. I loved Clark Schmidt. When we traded Joey Gallo, I was like dying for Clark Schmidt to be in that return package. I would have loved it, but he wasn't. They just don't have much hitting. They don't have much pitching depth, which is, I mean,
they're the Yankees, and they will always be relevant in media and news. They will be fine. Right. They'll make the playoffs. I mean,
they will. I mean, the lack of. I mean, I'm probably one of the people. I think Aaron Boone's a good manager. I know some people may disagree with me. I think Aaron Boone's a good manager. I don't think it's all his fault. Do you know how long Brian Cashman's been there, Seth?
I do not.
Since the 90s. I think the late 90s, maybe late 90s. He's been there, I think, close to 25 years. So and had a huge hand in building those teams. But I think he may have took over, like right after those teams were being successful. I don't remember the exact timeline, and ever since 2009, he's had nothing. He's had 13 years to try to do something. Nothing. Could never get past the Astros, right? So I think that I do not blame Aaron Boone, which again, a lot of Yankees fans do. And I'm like, no, I think he's a good manager. I was very critical of the hire because he had never managed, but I don't think it's all on Boone. Yeah, could he be better? Yeah, but look at the roster he had last year. He had nobody. That's front office. That's not Boone. Boone can only work with what's given to him. That's why I hate when people blame manager all the time. You can only... Yeah, they do have Nestor. I don't know why I thought Nestor could have been a free agent. But, yeah, there's really nobody else on this list. I mean, Rodon was... If he's healthy and he's successful, Rodon's a great pitcher, but he was awful, even when he was playing last year.
Well, I mean, there's still the other huge buying team.
The Dodgers. So last time we talked, Shohei Ohtani had not signed anywhere. And now he has. Ohtani to the Dodgers. 10 years, $700 million. But that's all fine. I thought, man, $70 million. They'll probably defer 30 of it a year maybe, right? He'll get paid $30 to $40 million a year. He'll be one of the high, if not 50. No. He's going to make $2 million this year. Because they deferred $680 million of that to after he's done playing, or after he's done with the Dodgers. So he could still play after the Dodgers. Now,
so what you're telling me is the Dodgers will be nothing in 10 years? Yay!
And not even in 10 years, after 10 years.
Oh, yay!
Their spending power will be greatly reduced.
Until they defer it again.
Until they defer more. I mean, they may pay Ohtani his grandchildren at this point.
I mean, that's certainly possible.
But, I mean, it's great for the Dodgers. It's amazing for them because I mean, now you have a 10-year window, 10-year window with Ohtani. That is a gigantic. If you do not win something here, never mind the Angels, because we knew the Angels had problems even when he signed with them. He chose to come here, and you failed him for 10 years.
I think the problem is
they're gonna get to the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, yes,
almost every year. I mean, they've got a big 8 at this point.
I think the problem is
no pitching.
It's a bad. Well, yeah, I mean, yes, but I think just in general, it's a bad look for the league in this case
to allow this to happen.
Yeah, because this is more casual viewer than the hardcore viewers. To me, that this is a primary example of a team becoming overpowered through spending. like we're not going to see like the Diamondbacks do something like that. Like that's just not going to happen.
No.
There's no way they could afford something like this.
And you're not going to do a salary cap because the time for a salary cap would have been 1994, and the players were willing to never play baseball again to not have a salary cap.
Yeah, so it's like
It's never going to happen. So you have to figure out how can you get these teams to spend. I am a believer in try to get revenue sharing to a point where revenue sharing cannot be pocketed. If you get money from the other teams, you have to spend it on players. Even if that's just one player that you absorbently pay, fine. But just spend it on somebody.
But like I think this is going to turn off a lot of casual viewers. I think there is no bad move from the Dodgers. This is incredibly smart by the Dodgers. I just think it's a bad look for baseball.
I think it's going to turn off people like you, who have a team, but don't love baseball like I do, right? Where I'm going to watch regardless. If you're someone who doesn't really care about baseball that much, you may be more interested to watch the Dodgers now. To watch Ohtani in a big market with Betts and Freeman, that's a great thing. It's going to draw a lot of eyes. But to someone like you who's a casual viewer with a team that he loves, that's going to cause problems because now you're like, well, what the hell? My team, I mean, we can't compete against that.
That's not entirely. My team can.
Your team's payroll can, but right
most
now,
of them cannot.
A lot of the teams, look at the NL West. There's only one team that can sustainably spend, because the Padres have shown they cannot sustainably spend. That's the Giants, who we'll get to in a second, because they signed, and if I don't think I'm mispronouncing it, but it's Jung-Hoo Lee from Korea, if I'm not mistaken, for 6 years, 113, which we'll get to that later. But that's the only team that can spend, mano a mano with the Dodgers. They can go toe-to-toe with them spending-wise. The Padres, they tried, failed. The Rockies, nope, they refuse to.
No.
And the Diamondbacks just kind of can't, don't want to.
But they went to the World Series this year, and they still don't have spending money.
But they got Eduardo Rodriguez 4 years, 80, which is nice for them.
I mean, when I say spending money, I mean Dodgers level spending money.
Well, very few teams have that spending money, and the thing is that Arizona could have signed Ohtani. They have the financial wherewithal to sign a player like that. They couldn't have done the deferrals. That is where I think people are misunderstanding where the financials are. Any team, this includes the A's, every owner has the financial wherewithal to pay for Ohtani. The reason none of them are going to pay $70 million is because none of them have the ability to do the deferrals that the Dodgers are doing, or / the desire to do those deferrals, because a lot of them are greedy. Kind of like I remember, I think it was a writer who I want to say who said baseball owners are like the French barons of their they're squabbling over how much power they have. It's just. I mean, it's great for the Dodgers. It's great for the fans who don't care about a team and just want to watch some good baseball. Hey, there you go watch the Dodgers. But if you're a casual fan with a team, man, you don't like it. And
I think more
if you're in the
importantly,
NL West, you hate this. Because, I mean, I remember there were Diamondbacks fans crying, we're never going to get back to the World Series. Because, I mean, Freeman, Betts, and Ohtani are, you have the two runner-up MVP candidates in the National League, and now the American League MVP. Like, that's unfair. The Dodgers may have the MVP for the next 8 years.
I think more importantly than that, let's say right now, let's say on air hypothetically, the Dodgers went on to win 6 straight. Is that a good look for the league? No. That is like the worst case scenario. Everyone wants a team like this to win, at least one, because you want them to get the ring. Let's say Ohtani wins. I'm not the huge Dodgers fan, but I like Ohtani. I want them to win.
Every fan that likes baseball, you want to see Ohtani succeed because you've seen him be death in
even
the Angels.
The league wants them to succeed to some extent.
Of course they do.
But you turn around and they succeed too much, it's going to create a whole nother problem. Because just like the Patriots, just like the Chiefs, just like I wouldn't say the Lakers or the Celtics, as completely different circumstances, but like
the Warriors.
I'd say the Warriors and the Cavs, right? It turned people off.
4 straight years, the same finals matchup.
Yeah. If we had 6 straight and it was the Dodgers versus some new opponent every year and they just beat the crap out of them, that is bad. That is really bad for the league. Because then the league is going to have to come up with a scenario where, this should never, ever happen again, because it's going to lead to lower viewership. It's going to hurt their financials long term.
They're probably going to make something in the next CBA, which is, I think it's 3, 4, or 5 years, somewhere in there, where they may make a deferral cap. That's on a salary cap. They can tell the players, that's not a salary cap. We have to. I would think the players can understand. It's not that we're trying to limit your deferral earning. We understand the importance of having deferrals. I think deferrals is the smartest way to go about a contract. But you see, and I think now the argument for the players would be, well, how many of us are going to get that much money in deferrals?
Yeah.
So I think, honestly, I don't think it's that bad of a look because it's going to be one player. Right now, it's fine because there's nobody in baseball that's going to get $700 million. Nobody. Right? And I think the problem with the Dodgers is you don't know if he can pitch. He's not pitching to 2025. And this is his second Tommy John. Not in his life. It's not like DeGrom, who had Tommy John over 10 years ago. No. This is his second Tommy John since coming to America. Second. He's been here since 2018, for reference. It's his second Tommy John. That's bad. That's very bad. I mean, I'm serious. I would expect him, if I was the Dodgers, I would tell him, you're a closer. You're not a starter. I'm sorry. You're a 2-inning closer. I know that sounds like you don't pay your ticket to watch Ohtani close games, but do you want to win? Or do you want to watch Ohtani get his third Tommy John surgery? Because clearly whatever he's doing is destroying his elbow.
Yeah.
And if he never pitches again or never is successful as a pitcher, it's a horrible contract for the Dodgers. No hitter is worth that much money.
No.
I mean, Ohtani is great, but...
Are you going to pay... If you're not going to pay Aaron Judge that money, you're not going to pay
Not only that, but I would use a more example that I had a better one. Corey Seager. You're telling me that Corey Seager in a full season isn't just as valuable as Ohtani as a pure hitter? Seager was the World Series MVP twice. He's won it twice now. He had 30-plus bombs, and he had 2 nice chunks of time that he missed due to IL stints. And he probably would have been around Ohtani's home run total if he had played. He may have surpassed it at his level. He was arguably a better hitter, and he fields. Ohtani doesn't field. He's a DH. So, I mean, as a hitter, Seager's almost as valuable, if not as valuable as Ohtani. And Seager got $325 million for 10 years. Now, I get that was 2 years ago the market changed, but he would probably still get maybe what? He may get $350 now. Ooh. He may get a little bit more in today's market.
A little bit more. An extra $25 million. You know what you could do with $25 million?
Man, a lot. Yeah, but sports. This is why sports will destroy your mind economically, because you'll be like,
I got a $125 check today. Let's go.
Yeah, like I have on here Will Smith, and I only have Will Smith and Austin Hedges because they're Rangers, signed for a collective two guys for $9 million, one for 5, one for 4, and I'm like, man, those are cheap. But like, if you had $4 million, we'd be fine. It's just
eating out every day.
It's funny.
Infinite McDonald's money.
But again, it's great for the Dodgers. It's somewhat good for baseball, somewhat bad for baseball. It's wait and see kind of. Like we said earlier, Eduardo Rodriguez signs with Arizona. He's kind of a head case, but I mean, he declined to be traded to the Dodgers this year.
Whoa!
So Detroit had a trade with him to the Dodgers. He's like, no, I want to stay closer to the East Coast, and then now he goes to Arizona.
That's an interesting.
He's just a weird. You remember the Red Sox? He's just kind of an interesting individual. Makes interesting decisions. The Red Sox made another trade. Craig Breslow has made a lot of really good, smart trades. I think you guys have a good GM there. And they kind of, what's funny? They copied the Rangers. So they took a player who has won a World Series, actually with the Red Sox, who also went to an Ivy League school. I think he was Yale. Chris Young was Princeton. I mean, both Ivy League. They're both great schools. I couldn't get either of them. And he's making some small, smart trades the same way that Chris Young did when he first arrived.
Yeah.
So I've seen a lot of similarities, but they got Tyler O'Neill, who's a Gold Glover, great. I mean, he's not the best hitter, as you can see right here with this slash line. He's not a hitter. He is a guy that's glove first. He could hit. You never know. Maybe you have your hitting coach is like, hey, I see something. I can fix his swing, right? I mean, you guys gave up Nick Robertson and Victor Santos. I mean, that's it's not nothing. So you guys gave up virtually nothing to get this guy. It's a good trade. It's a smart trade. He's a plus player.
Hopefully it turns
to
into
give
a net
you
positive.
a better thing. Jackie Bradley Jr.
Oh yeah, I love Jackie Bradley. Yeah.
Glove first outfielder that can hit a little bit.
Good. He's a great piece. He's a good piece.
Yeah,
that's a good way
exactly. And I'm only mentioning these guys because they were Rangers. The Royals signed Will Smith, so confirmed. If he stays within the full year, the Royals win the World Series. Like, it's confirmed. He's been on the last 3 World Series teams. Braves, Astros, Rangers.
He's been on the last 3?
I said that earlier.
Oh, I didn't realize. Oh, wow. That's crazy.
So he's the fifth. I'm like Mike Tyson. The first man. He's the first player in North American sports history to be on 3 straight championship teams, but 3 different teams. Obviously, guys have three-peated. Jordan, any one of the Bulls was on the three-peats, but they were the same team. He's the first guy to do it with 3 teams in a row with different teams. It's impressive.
That is beyond impressive.
Impressive picking.
That's good picks.
He signed with us to start the season. It was closer to the start of the season. I was like, oh, he's been in the last 2 World Series teams. World Series confirmed for the Rangers, and we were all like, oh, ha ha, that's funny. No, but like it'd be really funny if it happened, and then look, it happened. So.
Brady, I have some bad news about this next season.
Yeah, the Royals. But now the joke is, no. The Royals aren't going to win. Whichever team he gets traded to at the deadline, that's who's going to win. So if you're a team at the deadline, go to Will Smith. His ERA could be it could be 7. Doesn't matter. Trade for him. You win the World Series. It's a thing.
I know what I want for.
So congratulations, Will Smith. Thank you for everything you did for us. Same thing to Austin Hedges. Hedges was like he's the third catcher. He can't hit. I honestly think me or you could go up there and have almost similar results. If you gave us a month to train, we'd have similar results.
A month? No. I'm just gonna go up there and lean into every hit. I got this. I'm gonna walk away like a bruised peach, but I'm gonna walk away with at least some walks.
His OBP was 1,000. No, but Hedges can't hit, but he's a great fielder. He's one of the best fielding catchers. In fact, I think he was the number 1 pitch framer or number 2 pitch framer because the other one was Jonah Heim.
That's crazy.
So, he was a deadline pickup for us. He was great in the locker room. If any of like our dugout shots that they would show, he's like the cheerleader. He just has that personality. Okay. He has that kind of like Gronkish, just like everyone loves him. He will say some weird things just because he's funny, right? Like look up some Austin Hedges highlights on YouTube of him with the Rangers. It's none hitting. It's all in the dugout like cheerleading. It's hilarious. And then Jung-Hoo Lee. I think he was an outfielder from Korea, San Francisco, 6 year. He was the other like big Japanese star after Yamamoto. The rumor also is that Roki Sasaki, he's 21, and he's like lighting up Japan. He's apparently asked his team to post him. Which
really?
Now his team can say, no, they have the ability right now. But if he gets posted, that's a big contract. It's a big now. What's interesting is he actually has the same thing that Ohtani did. Was he hasn't reached this the minimum requirements to come over to America, so he would get a minor league contract. He can't get a major league contract.
I was about to ask. Wait a minute.
So he'd get like a 10-year, $300 million minor league contract.
No, I was literally just about to ask. Wait a second. Wouldn't it if teams could sign contracts without having to go through the 6-year full period with having to negotiate and also just having basically that automatic. Yeah, wouldn't it be better for players in the U.S. to
go to Japan?
Yeah.
Well, no, because you still have to have a certain requirement.
Oh.
I think to get signed. I could be wrong on that because if you're American, you start in the U.S., can't cut it, go to Japan and come back. Then I don't think you need the 6-year requirement. But
I mean, let's say you go to college here and you're like, well, baseball drafted me. Like, let's say you got drafted by a team, right? And you said no.
The A's. Let's say the A's.
Yeah, so let's say the A's drafted me, right, tomorrow. And I'm just like, no. And it's because I want to go play in Japan.
I'm going to go play in Japan for
a year or two.
No, I think you still have to play. No, I think you have to play a certain amount of years in Japan to be able to be posted. But I don't know fully. Baseball is weird. The laws for Japan and Korea are different than the international laws for the for Latin America.
Oh, okay.
It's really weird because I think it's because Japan has professional leagues that the MLB will recognize as professional leagues. Not that Latin America doesn't, but that theirs are like winter leagues, right? So most of the time you're not signing if you are 25 and in the Dominican Republic, chances are there's a reason you didn't get signed to a major league team when you were 16. Most of the guys out of Latin America, the reason we sign him is, wow, he's like 6'2", but like he's bone. We're gonna put muscle on him and sign him. And like, you see a lot of those kids, and they're this big around, and then you see them, and then they're muscular. In the old days, they gave him steroids, and I'm not lying. Look at Sammy Sosa. Then look what happened when he came to America. They gave him steroids because it was legal, sort of, kind of. But in Latin America, it's the international bonus pool money. In Japan, it's whatever you want to pay them. It's a free agent. It's really weird how baseball does it. But it works. It's actually a system that they do that I think works well. Now to football.
Football!
Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for today. This says like, wait, this is his thing. This is his sport. Even though he sucked at it.
Shut up.
Hey, I did too.
Completely irrelevant.
I can't say anything. So I'm going to start with the Eagles recap and a Bills preview. I'm going to do a little different. I'm going to change this up. Then we're going to do our picks. I have Chase's picks. Seth's going to give his, even though his don't matter, and mine. We stomped the crap out of the Eagles, and it was so much fun to watch.
As an Eagles hater,
I'm sure you were loving it. I loved it. I was so happy. I was just so happy. It was if you win a game as your team, whether it's the Panthers or whatever, you're happy, right? Your day is made. You can't have a bad day now. If you beat the Eagles, for Cowboys fans, if we beat the Eagles, it's a really great day. When you stomp the Eagles like that, and everyone's saying how great they are, and you skeet shoot, you pull out a right one, kill them. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It goes even further beyond that. Like
their offense didn't score a touchdown.
People have been saying the Eagles are frauds for a while, and now not only does this justify what they were the crap they were talking to the Niners a week ago, followed up by the absolute beating they took. Followed up like, okay, that's understandable. The Cowboys got the crap beat out of them by the Niners, but they beat the Cowboys earlier in the year. Like it's time to reassert yourself. That's the problem. Right? This is a confidence-breaking game. You just got your teeth kicked in by the other great team.
Yeah.
And you've been talking crap on the Cowboys, and you've been talking crap, and you're like, oh, okay, that's fine. The Niners beat the Cowboys too, so, whatever. And then you're like, oh, we'll walk into Dallas, and then you get your teeth kicked in. Like, that does a lot to your confidence.
And the whole thing with Dom and Secure Right,
yeah,
all of that was kind of adding fuel to the fire, and it just feels like they're collapsing. And I was one of the guys that was saying, they're frauds. They're frauds. I can't prove it. They're 10-1, right, coming into the Niners game. I can't prove it, but I can tell you. I remember I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was like, I haven't watched any of the Eagles games. I'm like, I have watched multiple. They're frauds. I'm telling you, they're going to be a one-and-done team in the playoffs.
I wouldn't go that far.
I really felt that way.
It really depends on who they play. If they play, I think if they play the top three, which is the Niners, the Cowboys, or the Lions, I think they'd lose.
I think the Lions would beat them.
I don't think anybody else would.
I think the Packers and Seahawks could. I think nobody else could.
I think the Packers might.
I think the Packers could because I love Jordan Love, and I think that I think the Seahawks could. I'm going to spoiler alert. I'm picking the Seahawks this week against them, even if Drew Lock starts or Geno. I don't care. The way that Seahawks have played the Niners and then played us, then played the Niners, they're going to beat the Eagles. You play that way against the Eagles, right? It's kind of like you go up against you go up against the biggest baddest bully. Then the second biggest baddest bully, then the loudest bully, who's not that big and bad but thinks he is. It's the Eagles, right? So I think you have a chance to beat them. But I thought the Eagles were frauds. I couldn't prove it. That's why I'm like, I'm not saying that they definitely are, but I know they are because I'm watching this team. But they're sometimes good teams find ways to win games.
Yeah,
that was not what they were doing. They were completely squeaking by and then talking a bunch of trash.
Oh, you could almost say they're like, what's that other AFC team that I can think of that's...
They're like, I think it was Emmanuel Ocho said it perfect. They're the 2020 Steelers.
Yeah.
They're the team that started off really good. Everyone's
11-0.
And then people forget this, that I remember this game. I'll never forget it. The Steelers almost lost to Garrett Gilbert for the Cowboys. Garrett Gilbert almost beat the Steelers. Was this close when they were still in the theater at that time. This team was like that. And you know what that team was? One and done in the playoffs.
Oh, they were beyond one and done. They collapsed the final, 5 games?
So Philadelphia, I think, could be one and done. Could be. I'm not saying they are. I'm not saying guaranteed. Could be. And for the division, if they lose one more game and we went out, we got the division.
Yeah.
Which is what matters. And I think that the Giants have a chance. They play them twice. The Giants have a chance to steal one of those games.
Oh, the Giants with Tommy DeVito?
Tommy DeVito, the guy.
DeVito,
he's the guy.
He's the guy. He is the guy.
He's the guy.
I love him.
Guy.
I love him.
The Cardinals have a chance with Kyler Murray and Jonathan Gannon.
Oh, yeah.
Because Gannon, his old team, could beat him. And the Seahawks could beat him. It's one of those, it's 4 games that you should win, but you might not. You never know. The way the Eagles have been, if their collapse continues, there's a chance.
Oh.
And it's just got to happen once. Now, the problem is the Cowboys have to face the Bills in Buffalo, Miami in Miami, and then Detroit.
You guys will destroy Miami.
I think we'll beat Miami because if Hill is continuing to be hurt.
I don't think it matters if he's hurt. I'm telling you, I've watched that Miami team, and I mean, I plan on talking about this later. They are frauds. They are not a good team.
He feels, for context, he feels about Miami the way I felt about Philadelphia. Like, I know they're frauds. I can't prove it because their record disagrees with me, but I can tell you they are because I've watched them, and I know football. When it comes to Dallas, I want to say this team looks different. And I know that I'm not saying this is the year, this year's different, because I've done that the last 2 years, and I can't do it again. However, this team looks more physical than the one that started the year. After the Cardinals game, it was like I was pissed. Then after the Niners game, we were emasculated in that game. It was bad.
Yeah.
Ever since that game,
murder at the Meadowlands.
Ever since that game, we have been the Meadowlands. That's
not right.
New York.
What was it? Was the murder at the
Bay?
Something like that. It was some
murder by Purdy. I don't know.
I can't remember what the exact
a Purdy or murder. Or I don't know.
But I was like, wait a minute, Meadowlands doesn't sound right.
That's New York.
New York.
But when it comes to Dallas, they've played a lot more physical. Like it was the one thing when we lost to the 49ers in 2021. They played smash mouth football, and we played little B-word football. I mean, it was bad. Last year in the divisional round, Dak's interceptions made the difference, which is where that narrative really started, which is where the narrative really got hammered in. He threw a couple costly, I remember he threw a couple costly picks. This year, we have played a lot more physical since that Niners game. Like, I remember telling you that if we face the Niners now, we have a chance to win.
Yeah.
This is not the same team that played them was in week 5? I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's McCarthy did something. I don't know what it is, but this team has a newfound sense of physicality. And like DeMarcus Lawrence said it. Did you hear the soundbite he said after the Eagles game? I can't repeat some of the words, but he was like, we hit them, and we hit them until they quit, and then we hit them again. Like, he said, we made them quit, and we kept hitting them, which has been what the Cowboys have not done. We will hit, and then we may think they're down, and we start raising our arms in victory, and then they hit us in the nuts. I mean, that's kind of what the Cowboys have done. But to see this team play a complete football game, another complete football game against a good team that is a playoff team. The Eagles are a good team. Don't get me wrong. They are a good team. They got a great front. But I want to say this. Tyler Smith is the father of Jalen Carter. I want to say I saw a stat. I'm going to try to find it. But Tyler Smith, I was wrong. I will admit when I'm wrong. Like Napoleon, I never make a mistake. I simply never do. But I was wrong about Tyler Smith. I did not want to draft him. I was pissed when we did draft him. But here's the stat from John Owning. Tyler Smith has played 51 total snaps versus Jalen Carter. He's allowed 1 pressure in pass protection to go along with 0 losses as a run blocker per PFF's charting.
That's very impressive, considering how good he's been.
He has destroyed Jalen Carter because Carter's going up against power. Smith can match his physicality and his power, and Carter's not used to that. The Cowboys are playing well. The running game is making me nervous, but Dak is just playing. To me, Dak's the MVP, but that is a biased take. I'll admit it, and I will stand by it. I believe he's the MVP, and we've been playing really good football right now. And it's exciting.
I am of the belief that Purdy is still the favorite.
We've talked about. We will respectfully disagree because you understand.
I think the numbers are too close, and I think he holds the head-to-head victory, and I think
he does.
I think that's in 2011 when Rodgers won. 2011, 2012, or those 2010, 11, and 12. But one of those years when Rodgers won the MVP award, and it should have probably gone to Drew Brees. I think the only reason it didn't is Rodgers' efficiency numbers, which I think Purdy has higher stats in. And he had the head-to-head victory.
To me, coming down the stretch, if Dak plays like he has against Buffalo and Miami and Detroit,
that would
hard
do it.
Not to give him.
If he wins all of those games
and handily
plays
well,
and maybe throws 1 or 2 interceptions and like 3-4 touchdowns each game, he deserves.
He's only thrown 6 this year, and I don't know if any, and I don't think all 6 have been his fault. Not to say that. I'm saying I know at least one of them was tipped.
We should talk about we should get to the Mr.
The Bills,
Mahomey soon.
The Bills, I think we're going to beat the Bills. I think we got a good chance to beat the Bills. Only because Allen's so turnover prone, And this week, clearly Dan Quinn saw something because I think it may have been Bland or somebody came out and said, yeah, Dan Quinn, old DQ, was like, bro, we're going to get rid of the ball this week against Philadelphia because we stripped 3 fumbles from them.
Yep.
So clearly we saw something that they were doing to be able to rip the ball from that confidently. I mean, I remember the one on Devonta Smith. If you watch the first 2 tacklers, they're not trying to tackle him. They're trying to peanut punch that ball out. So I mean, they're trying, and then Marquise Bell comes up from the blind side and is very successful. I think we'll beat the Bills because Allen is a turnover machine.
Yeah.
I am predicting a Bland pick 6 in this game. I think he's going to extend his record to 6.
I can see it. Yeah, I can very easily see it.
I think he should get to 6. He has the record for pick 6, and it's 6. I think it's aesthetically just very pleasing. I think he could throw 2. I think he could throw 3 or 4 interceptions with how ball hawk-y our defense is. I think we're still the number 1 team in takeaways.
I can see it. I can see it happening.
You realize that Dan Quinn could have orchestrated the number 1 defense in takeaways 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, it's impressive what he does with this team. We may give up points. What we sacrifice in points, we make up for in turnovers, which I'm okay with because turnovers can change momentum in games. I'm okay with giving up maybe an extra touchdown or 2 if it means you get an extra takeaway or 2 because takeaways, the turnover battle is something that every coach will tell you. You win the turnover battle, you got a really good chance of winning. Now we're going to get to our game picks. So I'm going to say what I picked, what Chase picked, and then Seth can offer his little expertise if he'd like. I'm not going to go over the games from last week. All you need to know is that Chase gained 1 on me because, where is it? I took the Falcons. He took the Bucks. He got that one. I took the Bills over the Chiefs. He took the Chiefs. I'm sorry, he took the Bills. I took the Chiefs. We'll talk about that in a second. And then I took the Broncos over the Chargers, and I was very right about that one. So here we go. Week 15, Chargers at Raiders. Chase went Raiders. I'm going Raiders, Seth. Again, he's not in our game, but he's going Raiders. Yeah, it's just a bad game.
Yeah,
Chargers with Herbert being out. Yeah, it's bad. Rumor is Belichick could be going there, which would be really nice for them.
They would win a Super Bowl.
So you said they won a Super Bowl.
I think that team has the talent on offense
and one good offseason.
Yeah, that team won a Super Bowl.
Vikings at Bengals. I like the way Jake Browning has played. He's played really well.
That's tough because Jay Jettis seems to be coming back again next week.
Here's the issue with Jay Jettis. Who's throwing him the football? Nick Mullins? Yeah.
Oh, wait, yeah. Is Dobbs hurt?
Yeah. No, Dobbs is out. They benched him.
Really?
He had a Linsanity run, is what it is. He had a Linsanity run for a couple weeks, was really good, and then
they can send him back to NASA. I don't think he minds. But yeah, I'll take the Bengals. Browning, easily.
Yeah, and so does Chase. Steelers at Colts. Chase goes Colts. I'm going Colts.
I'm going Colts.
The team that lost to the Patriots. No offense to your team, but yeah.
Trubisky's a bad quarterback.
And I was wrong. I thought he was a good one. I thought that the Steelers would fix him. Now, granted, they had Matt Canada, so.
Yeah.
Broncos at Lions. This is where Chase, me and him will disagree. He's going Lions. I'm going Broncos. I'm sticking with him. I think they smell blood in the water with Kansas City. They're a game back. They know they have to play. They know what they're doing. And I think that having Russ and Peyton, 2 very experienced players at head coach and quarterback, not that the Lions are bad, but none of them have really been. I mean, Goff is the only one really on that team that's notable. Yeah. Nobody else on that team has really been this close to the playoffs, including Dan Campbell. I believe
that's hard because Detroit is such a good football team,
but they've been
all
inconsistent because they lost to the Bears. They've lost some easy games they shouldn't, and I think this is a game that they could win. I'm taking the Broncos because I think the Broncos, their experience will triumph late in the season.
I think you've changed my vote. I think I'm
going Broncos.
I think I'm gonna have to go Broncos.
Okay. Again, for Seth, it doesn't really matter. No, this is our ability to talk about other teams. And Chase is going Lions. So me and him disagree. Jets at Dolphins. I originally had Dolphins, but you helped convince me a little bit when we were talking about it. I'm like, I want to go Jets. I want to go Dolphins, and then because I didn't know Tyreek was injured.
Yeah, he's injured.
I did not see that. I know he got injured. I thought he was fine. I thought it was like he tweaked something. He's gonna be fine. No. Then looking at that Jets defense and what they've done to some decent offenses in the past few weeks, it's just that gut thing. I'm gonna go on Jets over Dolphins. Chase is going Dolphins, for clear reasons. I mean, the Dolphins are a good team, but I think the Jets. I mean, Zach Wilson looked good. Zach Wilson's finally just playing with house money. He's no cares. Who cares, right?
Only way to play.
Texans at Titans. Me and Chase are both going Titans simply because Stroud's out, and Levis has looked a lot more comfortable.
Ooh,
Levis has looked a lot more comfortable, and I don't like Davis Mills.
Yeah, with Mills and I mean
Mills is
Perry
awful.
being out as well. Like
And Nico's out, I think.
and then Nico. Yeah, that's you gotta take
Titans.
the Titans.
And I think I
on
like
that one.
Vrabel.
I like Vrabel, but I don't think he should be the head coach of the Titans anymore.
Bucks at Packers. I'm going Packers. I like the Bucks, but they've been inconsistent. Baker's been inconsistent. So have the Packers, but I think
Ooh,
I like Jordan Love versus his team.
I think. Oh man, that's a tough one.
And Chase is going Packers.
I think I would have to go Packers, but I also could say easy. Like that is a very toss-up
it's a
game.
toss-up. Now here's an interesting one. I'm going a little risky here. Giants at Saints. Chase said Saints. I think you're saying Saints.
Yeah,
I'm saying Giants. Tommy DeVito's played very, very well, except for the Cowboy game, which was his first game, so I understand why he didn't play very well. We made him see some ghosts that game. The Tommy DeVito.
the Italian.
Which is funny because it's the name of Joe Pesci's character in Goodfellas, which it was the real guy's name was Tommy DeSimone, but they changed it. Giants. I'm going Giants. I just am. It's a gut feeling. Like I think they could win this game. I think they could catch the Saints sleeping. I think the Saints think, oh, we got this game. It's the Giants, and then they're gonna come in and punch them in the mouth. Falcons at Panthers. Me and Chase, both Falcons. From here on out, me and Chase will agree. So whatever I say is what Chase said, just for reference.
Yeah, Falcons.
Falcons, yeah. The Panthers are just bad. Bears at Browns.
Browns.
Yeah, I like Flacco's played really well.
I knew that was going to
love
go.
Flacco.
I do love Flacco. I didn't like him when he was playing my team every year in the playoffs.
Chiefs at Patriots. If I was up on Chase, I would probably pick the Patriots just for the memes and just 'cause, like if they do lose the Chiefs. And let's talk about the Chiefs for a second. The Chiefs. I don't care what Mahomes says. It was offsides. It was a flag, and you're just mad that your team lost and you didn't get a call, and you're a crybaby, whiny B word. And I think it's funny how my dad always told him growing up, Brady, it takes 10 years to build a reputation and 10 minutes to lose it. I think he said 10 seconds, but I'm going 10 minutes just because it's a little more fitting of the situation I'm talking about. Mahomes had a great reputation coming into this game. Yeah, he associated with some people that you didn't like.
Brittany,
his wife, his brother.
He associates with his wife.
But you like the guy. He was a good guy. You could root for him. You could if you're a Patriots fan, but he's a good guy.
I'll put it like this. We played them 2 years ago, and this is the start of N'Keal Harry's decline. I mean, it was always bad. But
the start of N'Keal Harry's decline and the Patriots have drafted N'Keal Harry.
Yeah, but N'Keal Harry had a play where he dove into the end zone, and he was on the sideline, and he tiptoed down to the sideline, jumped into the end zone. It was a touchdown. We should have won that game. We could have won that game. And the refs ruled him down. And they reviewed it on camera, and his foot was clearly in bounds, and they still took it off the board. And the Chiefs get calls all the time.
And they asked Brady, I remember seeing this, and Brady was like, well, we could have won the game in other ways.
No, that's it. The Carolina Panthers game about a decade back where Luke Kuechly is bear-hugging Gronk in the back of the end zone, and they threw the flag, and they're like, okay, cool. And they picked it up, and that was the game, right? What did Brady do? Could he have gone off on the referees?
Yeah.
Could he have done these things? Yeah, because there was valid criticism to be made, but he didn't. Because you just don't do it. It is a very easy way, because the first thing it does is it littles your opponent's victory. It's not just disrespectful to the refs, because let's be honest, the refs are horrible. They've been horrible.
And they are human, but yeah.
But like, it disrespects your opponent's victory. How many games a year are you going to win because of referees? And the comment, and part of me is ranting because I absolutely cannot stand the Chiefs.
Yeah, and I know your hate from the Chiefs comes from you're a Patriots fan, and everyone was saying it's the new dynasty, and they're not a dynasty yet.
Tyreek Hill, and I quote, "Oh, it's fine, we'll win 7." Yeah, sure you will. And now here he is, and
in Miami. And I think the thing is I have officially figured it out. To be a true dynasty, you have to win 3. You can be a mini dynasty and win 2 in certain situations, right? Like the Astros can almost say they have a dynasty because they've been so dominant in the American League since 2017 that you almost want to say, yeah, it's a mini dynasty. If they win one more, even with the cheating, I think you can say it is a dynasty.
I put it like this. I don't think Mahomes can ever catch up to Brady, but I think the dude is actively sabotaging himself from ever being able to do it.
Yeah, I think that if he'd have come back from that press conference, if he'd have come out and just in the press conference, and he scathed the refs. And I get it. It's after the game, emotions are so high. If he'd come out on Monday morning and just said, I'm sorry. I wish I hadn't said those things. I was pissed off. I don't believe he has. And not only that,
he's doubled down. No, he recently doubled down and this came out today. They didn't even say, it's not about the being wrong. It's that we didn't get a warning. That is the most crybaby BS level bullcrap ever. That is sore loser 101. And part of me wants the Broncos to. New England has the opportunity to really put them in full meltdown mode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do I want my team to lose a little bit? Yeah. I want Jaden Daniels. Don't even get started on that.
We'll get him on some draft shows later next semester.
But the fact that Kansas City says all these things, it really just goes to show how entitled they are.
Yeah.
It hurts Kelsey's greatness. Are you kidding me? Are you serious?
How about them doing like the hack-a-Gronk on the field, like the hack-a-shack, and no one calls it for anything? I mean, they would destroy Gronk. It's legal, but still. I think that for the Chiefs, Mahomes coming out and doubling down, and then the video of him at midfield, walking up to Josh Allen, not even saying good game, but that was bullcrap. No, he didn't even say good game. He shook his hand. Wildest call I've ever seen, bro. What offensive offsides to end the game? What are you talking about? And I want to go. It didn't end the game.
That's it. It did not end the game.
You had two more plays, and I think didn't they get a false start or something, or a sack or something? They had something that I think that knocked them backwards. That knocked them out of field goal range, which I think the field goal mattered. But it was like, bro, what do you mean? This is the same thing with Saints fans. Saints, I get it. It was pass interference. You had the ball in overtime. You had the ball again. Do you know how many times you could have won that game and didn't? It's the Desno catch. 4th and 1. You throwing it up at the end zone and not running DeMarco Murray, who ran for 1,800 yards, and then still you had 4.5 minutes to stop the Green Bay Packers offense. You didn't. So there's really almost no situation where you can ever say we lost because of the refs. It didn't matter unless they call a flag on you for every play. You cannot say that. There is always going to be a play that you look back and say, yeah, well, if we'd executed that, Brady was perfect at this. Well, if we'd executed this play and this play better, we could have.
There's only a handful of times I can remember in NFL history where a quarterback coming out after the game and scathing the referees would have been perfectly valid. The Saints shouldn't complain because you know what? They could have won the game and they didn't. They would have. But if Drew Brees came out after the game and scathed the referees,
you understand?
I don't think anybody would have been upset with it.
And only that, but if that was, let's say that was 4th down, they'd have a lot more of an argument. And it ended the game. They needed a field goal. They needed a touchdown. They had a lot more of an argument. But it didn't end the game.
No.
It wasn't even. So I think that's what frustrated us. But Mahomes is crybaby. And I know you're loving it because you hate the Chiefs. I just am like, man, the man now has to spend the next several years rebuilding this because this will not be forgotten.
No.
For a while. Anyway.
Especially if they lose to New England.
Yeah.
Which is why I am absolutely picking New England, but I am incredibly biased when I say that.
49ers at Cardinals, Niners.
No. Oh, absolutely. Don't murder them.
Commanders at Rams, Rams.
Yes. Yes, I had to think about that for a second. But
Cowboys at Bills, Cowboys. Ravens at Jaguars, Ravens. Eagles at Seahawks.
I don't know. The Ravens, I'm slightly worried the Ravens are getting a little too cutesy. I think that game was fantastic they played the other day. I also have Zay Flowers on my fantasy team.
Yeah.
But I think it was a really good game. I'll put it like this. It's going to be the Cowboys or the Niners. Yeah. Those are one of those teams that's winning the Super Bowl.
Ravens and then Eagles, Seahawks. I'm going Seahawks. The Eagles have just played bad. I think they're going to play bad again. I think
I'll pick the Eagles, but
all right, ladies and gentlemen, it will just be me. If Seth has to join me again, he may. I don't know, but from now until January 6th, it'll be me at least doing these because Chase will not be up here. So, hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you guys next week. See ya.